Well, it looks like I am live, although the internet here at the Castlegar Library might fail. So if you give any more grants or funding to the Castlegar Library, please be sure that it is applied towards the patrons' needs and not the staff's needs. Um, I'm doing a little vlog here about getting back on Modafinil. This is live today on the 15th. So I don't know how many times I have to repeat to people uh, how I take this at my discretion. And but they wrote the second one every evening. I don't know. It would be this is not a good idea to do it in the morning and the evening. So it's an error. But I repeat many times that I take. Usually, I was at my best with 250 milligrams a day, 1.5 milligrams during wake up, before 8 usually, and the other before noon around 11:30ish when I felt already kind of a fatigue hit me. And again, I do not believe that this medicine, by the way, this medicine's been around a long time. It's a French scientist that came up with this molecule a long time ago. It is known by various different functions. Insurance usually covers it for narcolepsy. Some doctors have tried it for attention disorders and it's been successful. Doctors have different opinions. They often have to look it up unless they already have done that in the past and they have patients that they prescribe it to. And pharmacists also over the years, because I've been on this for about 10 years on and off, and the off part was not always my choice. It was just being unable to access efficient medical services in Canada. So I noticed the pill is different than the one I've had before. It's a different kind of capsule instead of the round one. And I looked up L233 and to make sure that they gave me the right thing, because when you already noticed an error on here, which is not what I keep repeating to them how I take it, I don't take one in the evening. People take this also for doing shift work, which is unhealthy. So I hope they get paid, double time and a half to do unhealthy work scheduling patterns. What I noticed when a psychiatrist referred me to this in the past is I noticed I could get off other things, such as, medicine that may have helped me with the depression, for example. I decided to get back on recently because, yes, I'm picking up a little bit of dysthymia because my brain is not focusing as well. When I first got off of it and I gave up because of how hard it is to jump through hoops and just feel violated and just annoyed, with how the system is and triggered, right? Because, when I was in Quebec, one of the reasons that I'm taking a health authority to court next month is, and that's the court date, is that they just didn't know what to make of a person that is outside of the norm, and they thought I was bipolar, which again, I told them at the end when I had a nurse as a witness with the second psychiatrist is, I've done my due diligence and addressed past mental illnesses, and I've done my work on Vancouver Island, and I've had great referrals from my improvements from counselors that worked with me for years. They would never agree that I had bipolar. It was just their quick, incompetent decisions, and they wanted to give me medicines related to that, I believe, that were totally inappropriate for me. And I was just there for a few different things, such as having traveled and having the proof, with my passport and my computer there with videos, which they didn't want to see. So it was a real criminal human rights violations, horrible thing. So I'm taking them to court. So I want my mind to be sharper. Also, having had a few depressions in the past, which create kind of a drowsiness, a fatigue, a drowsiness, kind of sluggishness of the mind, I found that this pill was able to compensate. And in a way, it compensated for depressions that were not addressed properly because they were related to outside environmental factors. They weren't necessarily related to something wrong with my brain. But, I'd had a few major depressions in my life related to crashing when, people eventually convinced me there was something wrong with me. And then I realized there was more wrong with the norm. And when I realized this, no more chances of issues for depression. There's constant sadness and anger, which I have to mitigate very well within myself with the skill sets I learned through, receiving counseling, giving counseling, and also a life skills coach and mental health certificates. It allowed me to develop a very resilient mind as I continued to exercise my right to be my unique self. And my unique self means that I disagree with the behaviors of the norm most of the time and will not engage in that form of accepted domestication towards culture breakage behaviors. So when I decided I'm not doing that anymore, of course, it broke the cycles of history that I'd gone through many times, which included deep depressions. So this allows me to be more productive in my life and achieve my goals and focus my mind. And it helps compensate for times in my past when, not having been born in human society with human standard level medical care, my mind became less efficient over time. So when I realized through my theory what was really happening in my life and in the life of others, then I broke those patterns with my theory, but still wanted to keep this. Now, the last time that I got off this, it was also related to giving up on renewing it, just because it was too annoying. But also I realized that I didn't notice a difference right away. It took a bit of time. And recently I've noticed, man, another summer going by, another community I've offered myself to, and I feel more and more violated by them. And now I may have found a different community to get to. And it's going to be a multi-step thing because I'm poor, I live as a minimalist, and I also will be riding my motorcycle across country to defend my human rights with the health authority, CISO in Quebec. So, and again, not expecting a lot of supports, if any, from relatives. So it is quite a bit of challenge that is coming my way the next few months. So I feel happy just getting back onto this and doing it at my pace. And I will be cataloging a diary starting today where I'll write the dosages and document how I'm now more productive as well. The new community that I want to get to eventually, and there's jobs that I'll be refusing this week that have been offered because it's not that community. And it's linked to Work BC, which has been just using me to launder money among themselves, really, to keep their jobs, and not a lot to cater to people that want to be in the job market in ways that they don't feel violated, right? That feel like it's their skill sets, it's related to their education, and it's related to self-actualization. Because if it's not self-actualization, I don't do things just for a paycheck. I'm not an addict of any kind, including consumption. So doing things just for a paycheck would, eventually lead back to depression. So of course, I have to serve a purpose in my life, and these pills will help me again pursue self-employment in the proper community that I think I may have found to be successful, even if just part-time. And that is the life that I want to live, which is my right. Still living mostly as a minimalist, but being able to earn some income as I give back my civic duty based on my own specialties. So I'm documenting this today. I'm getting back on this bill. When I finally saw the doctor yesterday, I could see the exit of the emergency room, and I'm like, do I have to make a dash for it because I'm different than the norm? And, just the fact that I don't have a cell phone or a mailing address, and they're looking at me like they want to keep me for observation. And then I give my email, Dr. Humanix, and I know it doesn't help, but that's my professional email, and I will keep defending my right to call myself that in any public debate that anybody that is not a coward will accept to debate me in. So yeah, I'm looking at the door, right, still having triggers from having been kidnapped and imprisoned unfairly by CISO. And I did feel a bit triggered, but I did want to get this medicine again to achieve my goals. And this is me advocating for myself. And this is me not allowing dysthymia to get a little bit worse. Now, if I was ever wrong that a deep depression was still possible for me, there are medicines in the past that I took that were efficient in this way. But again, you can catalog and follow my life if you want, but my theory really does explain what led to these major depressions in the past, because they explain my life as well in relation to the norm. And I'm not worried about deep depressions ever again.